Good morning, YouTube. Today is Friday, July 5th. Kind of a holiday, kind of a not a holiday. Anthony, episode 150 of Amchatter. How are you today?
Good morning, man. Good morning. So, a little recovery after a big 4th of July day, man. So,
yeah, got to see some fireworks with the kids, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Did some smoking on the grill and everybody was satisfied and turned out to be all right. So,
That's good. Yeah, I think everyone remembered how great a holiday on a Thursday is. Really extends this holiday weekend. So hope everyone has a great Friday leading into the weekend. Some banks are open, some banks are not. Of course, if you need anything getting into your weekend, Anthony and I are here. Tom is taking the episode off today with baby Burko, so we'll see him back on Tuesday. But yeah, we're going to get into it, and we're starting to see some changes take effect. August 17th is approaching with all the real estate changes. We're getting the forms updated. We're getting questions answered. But the one thing you and I always talk about, Anth, is how much a real estate agent can help their buyer save money by just if they understand how to read the cost sheet, how to make sure they understand what that title company is charging, what that lender's charging, where when at the end of the day, after August 17th, the buyer's going to care about their final number. They're going to want to know what they have to bring to closing. They don't really care how they get there. They don't care who has to do what, to cut a fee or make it happen or do all this. As long as they're happy with their final cash to close, that's going to make them a happy client. But frankly, the title costs and the lender fees can range so differently. I mean, it's laughable in some cases why buyers are not shopping around and using other lenders.
yeah, I mean, I think you know what? The other thing is, I mean, a lot of lenders will not provide a cost sheet or a loan estimate until they make formal application. And I don't know how everybody is okay with not receiving that, because that's giving you the bottom line, the numbers, the monthly payment, the closing costs of what you need. I don't know how people are shopping for houses not knowing what they're paying. And, an agent should definitely get an estimate from the lender of their buyer's choosing. And if not, stress, that's why you need to get a second look, because they need to know that information. I mean, that's pretty important.
I would say when you get pre-approved for a mortgage and when you're going through who to decide what your lender should be or who your lender should be, an estimate is pretty darn important on what you should be getting there. Also, real estate agents, please don't shop off interest rate only. There are costs associated with every single interest rate. Just because a buyer is saying they have a low interest rate with quote unquote their lender, that does not make it the best deal. That does not make it the best deal. I think that is the biggest misconception is what's your interest rate? We've been saying it for years. That doesn't tell the whole story. And you have to be able to see what cost is associated with that rate, Anth.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely could be points there. I mean, how can I put this? So, I mean, essentially, if somebody calls you and says, hey, what's your rate today? It's kind of like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. What do you want it to be? Because there are lower rates below market, but you have to pay for those rates as far as a buy down. So somebody just calling somebody up and saying, hey, what's your rate today? And if they say 6%, okay, they sound like the best person going. But on the back end, when they get their formal application documents done, they're paying 3.5 points to get that rate. And they didn't know that. They just knew the rate was 6. So getting that estimate up front and not just, flying by it is going to be so important, especially with the changes coming, because if the buyer has to pay those additional costs on top of their regular normal cost for, closing costs, down payment, all that, they're going to have sticker shock.
Yeah, I mean, and then if there's any sort of commission added in, every dollar extra they pay to the lender is a dollar they can't pay for real estate commission. I mean, plain and simple. Because again, it's going to be all about that final number. So the buyer needs to understand what they're paying, who they're paying, why they're paying. And same thing on the title side. If there's fees that are, if you see something, right, everything's negotiable. It can't hurt to ask, is there anything we can do to all work together to make this transaction happy and get the buyer in with the least amount out of pocket is a good approach to have, because it's all about those final numbers and that bottom line and what it's going to cost a first-time home buyer to get into a home. And we were going to do a segment today, funny questions in real estate, and a lot of times first-time home buyers, they'll get a loan estimate from me, Anth, and the first question I'll get back is, hey, yeah, we'd like to finance our closing costs. And that's not allowed. The only thing you're allowed to do for closing costs as a home buyer is get a gift from a relative, get seller assistance from the seller, or get closing cost assistance from a specific bond program. Other than that, you got to pay your down payment and closing costs. You can't automatically just finance those. So please understand that. We don't look at seller assistance as quote unquote financing. We look at seller assistance as an offer tool for buyers to make their offer better for them by getting the seller to pay some seller assistance.
Yeah, I mean, seller's assist is huge as well. I mean, I think we're gonna see more and more of it. I know it's been shied away from over the past couple of years, but I mean that tremendously helps clients with the funds they need for closing. So I hope we do see more of it, because making the home buying experience affordable for the client, that is a solid option, is getting seller's assistance, or at least.
And I mean, if I'm looking at value and how do I have to show value as a real estate agent and what you do for buyers, part of that, man, will it make you look real good if you show them an option for a lender such as West Penn Financial that's going to save them dollars out of their pocket. I mean, that's showing real value right there, if you ask me.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do here, right? We always try to provide value and make sure the affordability is there for the client. I mean, the last thing we want is to close on a loan and either have it go into foreclosure, or 6 months down the line, having a client upset because their payment is not what they actually wanted, but they took the house because they needed to buy it. So right. Affordability is going to be huge, even moving forward.
For sure. I think that's huge. I think it's important for buyers to understand that there's 3 legs of this process with the real estate, title, and mortgage. Are all very important, and you need to figure out what's the best 3 to work with to make sure your transaction gets done quickly, you close on time, and you're not paying more than you should. So great episode, Anth. Heading into this Friday weekend holiday. You got any big plans for the weekend, or are you laying low?
Laying low this weekend, man.
Love it.
Went a little hard yesterday, so just laying low this weekend, man.
All right. Wonderful. So, I think I'm going to be baking cookies. So we're getting
Susie
crazy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Baking some cookies. So made a little mixed berry cobbler last night, I think it was. Getting real into baking this summer. So
you got to put that you got one of those KitchenAid things, right? You got to put that thing to work.
We got the big boy mixer for sure. Yep. All right, dude. Well, we'll see everyone back Tuesday, and have a great weekend.
See you guys.
Later.